Today's video is about Spartacus versus Maximus, a battle to the death, no mercy given, 1 versus 1. The fight takes place in the Colosseum, and the crowd is basically split between the two champions. And who would win this fierce battle of two gods? Each man can use his desired fighting style, Spartacus with his 2 swords and Maximus with his sword and shield, or what he might prefer. I want you to imagine this fight in a specific scenario. So the fight is fought with them both giving 100% and beyond. Them both meeting themselves in the arena, like Theocles wanted to come Capua, for example, to meet the champion Crixus and fight him. Let's begin. With both of them having their toughest armor on, Spartacus will need to think about a more indirect strategy instead of slashing his opponents on the chest and belly to weaken his opponent, like he usually does in the arena. If we are talking durability, Spartacus has shown stronger feats and would be more durable in the fight if it's prolonged for too long. Agility and speed are also on Spartacus' side, and he has shown this on the battlefield numerous times, beating numerous Roman generals as well as champions in the arena itself. Maximus, of course, has been on the battlefield as well, so both of them having the experience inside as well as outside of the arena, since Maximus has been a gladiator as well for some time. So being in the arena will not be foreign for neither of them. Both of them having been generals as well is of course one more thing contributing to each one of their skills and strategic thinking. Spartacus has also been training as a gladiator day in day out, whilst Maximus' greatest strength and most time spent lied with him being a leader as a Roman general for most time. In terms of 1 versus 1, the edge lies on Spartacus. If we compare both Spartacus and Maximus in each their own universe, Maximus of course being the more realistic fighter, which you would relate to in real life events, whereas Spartacus appears superhuman at the end of the series in War of the Damned, then of course the edge comes to Spartacus a little bit, because he's been constantly beating and slicing down Roman generals as well as champions without too much of an effort. What I also wanted to say is that Spartacus is not all the time the better leader than Maximus, because as Spartacus would be a better 1 versus 1 fighter, Maximus was a leader for a much longer time than Spartacus was, so ultimately I'd give him the edge on that one. Given Maximus was a general and commanded an army at the beginning of the series in Gladiator, also Maximus must have had greater skill than most, and his rank was at least a centurion or legatus. Maximus was a skilled swordsman who had extensive experience fighting in the Roman army. He also was a master tactician who would devise effective strategies to overcome his opponents. He also possessed superior agility and reflexes, making him quick on his feet and able to dodge attacks with ease. Furthermore, he was a master of the gladiatorial combat style, with a particular proficiency in using a sword and a shield. In order to reach those ranks as a soldier, Maximus would have to survive through a military campaign or 2, and given that battles in those days were basically throw men each other until one side quits, the casualties were fairly high, so to stay alive that long demonstrates quite a lot of skill on Maximus' side. On top of this, the Romans used their shield because it was damn effective at saving their lives, so Maximus would have a much better chance at being able to block strikes from Spartacus. Now, to say a training of a Roman soldier such as Maximus was more intense than the one of a gladiator would be wrong saying it so directly. Spartacus trained to harness his powers in the arena, whereas a Roman soldier such as Maximus trained to be effective in both the battlefield and a 1 versus 1 fight, but not directly like Spartacus has to be. This gives Spartacus the better chance, and even giving Maximus a shield, Spartacus has not really been stopped by a shield in the series as we saw. Spartacus was shown to defeat opponents seeming undefeatable like the Egyptian in Spartacus Vengeance, and He also beat actually a legatist such as Glaba, but of course Glaba is much lower in terms of skill than Maximus. According to the show, Spartacus was constantly able to defeat a better trained, better equipped, and larger force, despite impossible odds. However, Maximus is considered to be the best Roman commander in his time, even having studied the slave revolts of the Republic before his time. If we assume both fighters are at their peak physical and mental condition and are fighting seriously, the outcome of the battle would ultimately depend on the context of the fight. If it were a one-on-one battle in a small arena, Spartacus's raw strength and hand-to-hand combat skills might give him the upper hand. However, if it were a large-scale battle, Maximus' tactical prowess and sword-fighting ability could prove to be more advantageous. Both of them with their armor, and Spartacus with his specific armor we've seen him wearing after the fight with Theocles. Given they both have their full armor equipped on and the fight begins, how would it play out actually? The battle begins. Spartacus opens the battle up with a direct attack, aiming for Maximus's legs, since he cannot directly slash him on the belly or shoulders. He tries to bring him off balance, whilst Maximus recognizes that Spartacus is not the champion of Capua and bringer of rain without reason. Trying to block his attack, Spartacus actually pushes back Maximus, and Maximus tries a counter hit without success, as Spartacus foresaw it and dodged the attack. Both of them look at each other, thinking about what move the next might do. Their fight would go on for long until Spartacus landed the first blow, cutting the back leg of Maximus, resulting in Spartacus lowering his guard and getting a cut to his arm, because Spartacus had an opening which Maximus saw. Spartacus acknowledges Maximus as one of the greatest warriors he has seen in the arena, and Maximus appreciates that and tells Spartacus that he deserves to be called the bringer of rain after having fought each other for a longer time. 1 hour passed since their fight began, and both of them suffered numerous injuries on their body. They both are fatigued and remove their armor in respect of their powers, and they know the next clash would define the winner of this battle, hence removing the armor, out of respect and sheer will. Spartacus and Maximus would have a last conversation, with both of them telling each other that they respect each other as warriors before the next clash would begin. Maximus tells Spartacus that in other conditions and another life, they might have been friends and brothers. Spartacus acknowledges that, and both charge in. They clash their swords multiple times, with Maximus attempting to reach for Spartacus's head, while Spartacus was aiming to stab right through Maximus. Maximus' previous injury received from Spartacus shows its action now, and Maximus was unable to swing his sword to cut Spartacus's head. Spartacus stabbed right through Maximus' stomach, with both of them looking at each other, fully fatigued. But before Maximus leaves this world, Spartacus acknowledges Maximus as a true warrior and tells him so before he leaves this world. Much like Theocles had acknowledged Enemies in their fight, Maximus smiles before he dies a warrior in the arena. Spartacus stands up with injuries inflicted from Maximus and looks towards the crowd and is declared the victor. Spartacus, the bringer of rain, the champion of Capua. This would conclude the fight of two champions. Spartacus is simply a superhuman, in the series at his peak, and deserved to be called the bringer of rain and champion. I hope you enjoyed this What If video, and I'll see you in my next What If Spartacus video.